You would open in your scripture to Matthew chapter 8. Lance, I appreciate you stepping in, leading the singing, filling the gap for us. We are very blessed in this congregation to have a number of men who are willing to serve and do all kinds of things in public worship and in work of evangelism. We are grateful to God for our brothers and sisters in Christ. Matthew chapter 8 has always been one of my favorite passages. I was thinking about that just recently. Why do I like it so much? And I realized that Matthew chapter 8 is where the rubber hits the road. It's where Jesus finally gets started in the work of the kingdom. And all the other things he did before that were important and necessary. I mean, Matthew chapter 3, his baptism fulfills all righteousness, obeys the commands of his Father. His Father speaks from heaven, said, "This is my beloved Son, whom I'm well pleased." It's very significant event. Last week, I preached in Matthew chapter 4 about the temptation of Jesus, how Jesus went out into the desert, he and the devil faced off, and Jesus defeated the devil with the power of the Scripture and his spiritual strength. Important. Matthew chapter 5, 6, and 7, the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus talks about what it's going to look like to live in the kingdom. And then Matthew chapter 8, it's the beginning of the work. It's where the rubber hits the road. It's where the car finally gets in gear. Jesus goes out and starts talking with people about what does it mean to be in the kingdom of God? What does it mean to have faith? Matthew chapter 8, the first story, verse 1. When he'd come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him, and behold, a leper came and worshipped him, saying, "Lord, if you're willing, you can make me clean." Then Jesus put out his hand and touched him, saying, "I am willing, be cleansed." Immediately, and the leprosy was cleansed. Here was a man who had no hope. Life was impossible. He had an incurable disease. And not only was it debilitating physically, it was debilitating emotionally. I mean, from the moment the very first spot appeared on the leper's skin, they took him out of the house. They burned all of his clothes. He was not allowed to touch anyone, not his wife, not his children, not his grandchildren. He was not allowed to touch anyone. And if anybody came within shouting distance, he had to cover his face with a white cloth and cry out, "I'm unclean! Stay back! I'm unclean!" Impossible. Incurable. Fatal. But he believes something about Jesus. This Jesus can do something for me. So he goes to Jesus and says, "If you're willing, I believe you can make me well." It wasn't strong faith. It wasn't a strong proclamation of faith. But he knew that Jesus was his only hope. So he went there. And Jesus said, "If I'm willing, be cleansed." And immediately, leprosy left. It's faith. When you believe, when everything seems impossible, when you have no idea what the answer is, when you don't know how it's all going to work out, but you believe that Jesus is the answer, and you don't know how he's going to do it, and you don't know what he's going to do, and you know he's the only shot you have. So you go to him and say, "If you're willing, you can fix this. You can make me well." And Jesus said, "I'm willing. Be cleansed." The second story, starting in verse 5, is about the centurion servant, a Roman soldier, equivalent probably to the rank of captain or maybe major in the American army. Somebody with authority. And he comes to Jesus and said, "My servant is lying paralyzed and is greatly troubled." And Jesus said, "Well, I'll come and heal him. And the man said, "Oh, it's not necessary. I mean, you're obviously a person of authority. You have God's authority. When I give a command, people obey. If I tell somebody to go, they go. If I tell somebody to come, they come. If you give a command, it's going to be obeyed. Just speak the word." Jesus marveled at his faith. I've never seen faith like this in all of Israel. Among God's people, I've never met anybody that believes like this Gentile, this centurion believes. Go your way. And immediately the servant was made well. I'm amazed at the fact that he had no doubt whatsoever. His faith was so strong that he never questioned and wondered. He believed Jesus could do it. He didn't have to see it. He didn't even have to have Jesus in the same house. He knew that Jesus could heal his servant. And so he went to him and said, "You heal him. I don't need any of the extras. I don't need any of the assurance. I believe completely without doubt that you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And this is no big deal for you. You can handle this." I love that. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a good second guesser. I struggle to make a decision of any kind. I weigh it all out and I think about it. I pray about it and I ask people's opinion and I weigh the whole thing out and then I make a decision. That's it. That's what we're going to do. And then I wonder, is that the right thing? Maybe I shouldn't have done it. Maybe you should have done this. Maybe. This guy didn't have any doubts, man. There was no second guessing. There was no wondering if he'd done the right thing. He went to Jesus and said, "My servant is sick. You can fix him. Do that for me, please. Fix it. You don't have to come to my house. I don't have to see it to believe it. I'm a big see it to believe it guy. And I want the evidence. Give me the evidence." This guy said, "If you're who you say you are, you fix this." Friends, I have seen Jesus fix things that nobody thought would ever be fixed. I've seen him fix marriages that were so blown apart that even the police couldn't make peace. I've seen him convert folks who were so addicted that nobody thought they would live through the week because of their addiction. And those people are now preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ completely free from their addiction and sin. If we believe that he is who he says he is, without doubt, he can do amazing things. Look what he says in Matthew chapter 8, verse 18. "And when Jesus saw great multitudes about him, he gave them command to depart to the other side. Then a certain scribe came and said to him, 'Teacher, I'll follow you wherever you go.' And Jesus said to him, 'Foxes have holes, birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head.' Then another of his disciples said to him, 'Lord, let me first go and bury my father.' Jesus said to him, 'Follow me, and let the dead bury their own dead.' Jesus said, 'You going to believe in me, even if it costs you something?' 'Oh, we want to follow you, Jesus.' 'Really, do you?' 'What about when it gets hard? What about when you get insulted because of me? What about when you get attacked, falsely accused? You don't follow me again? What about when other people you love and you have to pull away from them and sacrifice that relationship? Do you really believe in me? I heard a preacher just recently speaking on Hebrews chapter 5, talking about how we ought to be through drinking milk and we ought to be eating the meat of the Word. He was saying, I hear these people say, "Give us the meat. We're strong. We can handle it." And some of the same people that were calling for meat, one of the brothers he was talking about said, "We want the meat of the Word." His name accidentally got left off the birthday list in the church building. And took him about 6 months to get him back to church. The elders had to go visit, the preacher had to go visit. He was so offended that his his name accidentally got left off the birthday list in the bulletin that he just couldn't come to church. And we talked about, Lord, I'll follow you. I'll follow you. First time somebody hurts our feelings, or neglects us, or criticizes us, we're gone. Jesus said, you better count the cost. You better set your priorities, friends. Because if you're going to follow me, it might just cost you something. You might just lose a relationship. You might have a family member that wants nothing to do with you anymore. You might have friends that start avoiding you. Because all you ever want to talk about is me now. You might lose a friendship because of that. You might lose a job because of that. I baptized a young man in India who was that close to being admitted into medical school. And he had a bachelor's degree in chemistry, on the dean's list. All the applications were done. All the fees were paid. But when he became a Christian, they rejected him from medical school. Because medical school seats in India don't go to Christians, they go to Hindus. And he lost his opportunity to become a doctor because he obeyed the gospel of Jesus Christ. As long as he was a Hindu, he was in like Flint. When he became a Christian, rejected. When you follow Jesus, it would cost you something. If it's hard, if you had to struggle, that's real faith. That's where faith meets the real. The next story, Matthew chapter 8, verse 23. They got into the boat. His disciples followed him. Suddenly, a great tempest arose on the sea, so that the boat was covered with the waves, but he was asleep. And the disciples came and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us! We're perishing! And he said to them, why are you afraid, O ye of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. And so the men marveled, saying, who can this be, that even the wind and the sea obey him? Will you believe in Jesus when the winds blow? When the storm's all around you? When the waves are crashing and you're not sure you can make it? When you don't know what God's going to do? When you don't know what life's going to bring? When you don't know if you can survive what life's throwing at you? When the wind is blowing and the waves are crashing, can you believe in Jesus then? I love the fact that he was asleep in the back of the boat. How could he sleep in the middle of the storm? He wasn't worried about it. He knew who made the waves and who made the wind. He knew who controlled the seas. He knew God had a plan. He just thought he'd take him a nap. And they said, Master, don't you care? You ever been there? Lord, don't you see I'm sick? Don't you see my wife is sick? The wind's blowing, Lord. Lord, can't you see that the business crashed? Can't you see my marriage is in trouble? The wind's blowing. Can't you see, Lord? And he says, well, why are you afraid? Do you think I can't handle this? Do you think this is not something I can still? Peace. Be still, O ye of little faith. Will you believe when nobody else wants to believe? Friends, we live in a world where that's more and more true. We live in a world where people don't want to believe. Life is too easy without Jesus. And so they don't want to believe. They'd rather do what they want to do than believe in Jesus, because if they believe in Jesus, then they have to do what He wants them to do. Jesus goes into the area of Gergesenes. there are two demon-possessed men there. I mean, these guys were deep in it. They lived in the tombs, in the graveyard, in the tombs. And they were so fiercely possessed that they would chain them up, and they would break the chains. And people were terrified of them. And so the demons, when they saw Jesus, they said, "What do we have to do with you, you Son of God? What are you doing here?" And Jesus started to call them out. And they said, "Don't call us out and send us into the abyss. Send us into that herd of swine." And Jesus said, "All right." And he sent the demons into the herd of swine, and the herd of swine went crazy. And they ran off the cliff into the sea and drowned. It's amazing how the devil will even cause pigs to be self-destructive. When the devil gets in you, he's going to figure out some way for you to destroy yourself, even a herd of pigs. Because the devil is all about death and destruction. The people from the village come out and say, "You must be the Son of God." That's not what they say, is it? They saw the man sitting there who had been demon-possessed, who had terrorized them and lived under such control. And they saw the pig carcasses down in the lake, and they said, "Man, you need to leave. We don't want anything to do with you. You need to leave. Depart from us." I just imagine that what all went on there with the demon-possessed men and Jesus and the swine, terrifying. They were afraid. We don't know what this is all about. This is something we've never seen before. This is something bigger than we are. And we don't want any part of it. Get away from us. And I'm here to tell you that's a very common reaction to Jesus. Because when Jesus gets involved in people's lives, things start happening. People change. Sin starts to disappear. Families start to change. The dynamic changes. And bad habits start to fall away. Good lifestyles start to take their place, and things start moving, shaking, and God starts working in their lives. And there are rewards that come from faith. God starts working those rewards and blessings in their lives. And people say, "Something different about you. You're not like you used to be." Hallelujah. I'm sure the guy that used to live in the tombs and wear the chains was really happy to hear them say, "You're not like you used to be." Praise God. Who wants to be that? Who wants to be under Satan's control, chained, living in a tomb? You're not like you used to be. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, I'm not like I used to be. Jesus has set me free. Some people will be excited by what they see. Other people will be terrified by it. And want Jesus just to leave them alone. Will you believe when people all around you don't want to believe? You got a faith strong enough that you believe when everybody around you doesn't want to believe. They just don't want any part of that. They don't want any part of Jesus. They don't want any part of church. They don't want any part of godliness. They just don't want, they don't want that. It's all scary, different, and weird. Just get away from me. Do you believe that? You see, faith makes a difference in the kingdom of God. Jesus ends the sermon, Matthew 7, just a few verses before where we started here in Matthew 8. He says, "Friends, if you will hear the things I have to say, hear them. You'll be like a man who builds his house on a solid rock. When the winds blow and the storms come, he'll stand." Or we could be like a guy builds his house on sand. And when the winds blow and the storms blow, great is the destruction of that house. Will you believe? In the world we live in, will you believe? Will you believe without doubt? Will you believe when there's no human hope that God can do something in your life? Will you believe when the people around you don't want to believe? Will you still believe in the kingdom of God's friend? If you believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and you are willing to commit your life to Him, come storm, our rejection, our sickness, our blessing, joy, significant ministry. If you're willing to commit your life to Jesus Christ, and when we sing the invitation song, come forward. I want to ask you one question. Do you believe Jesus Christ is the Son of God? If you say yes, we will baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. For the forgiveness of your sins this very day. Will you believe? If you're a child of God, but you need to make some changes in your life, come forward and confess, and let's pray. Let's get right with Jesus. If you have need of the invitation, you come forward right now.